Jeanine Tesori, Michael Mayer, welcome back to On Stage, and congratulations on this new opera now playing at the Metropolitan Opera. Jeanine, this opera is based on George Brandt's play. What was it about this play for you that made you say, you know what, I'm going to sign on to do this, make my Met debut, and make this play sing?
Well, it was almost 10 years ago when I saw the play at Studio Theater in D.C., and it's just this woman in a box, which is how I feel so many days. But she speaks about so many characters, and it's about so many things. It's about motherhood and work and balance and humanity and, a moral injury that turns into a moral awakening. And I really felt it in such a deep way.
The play played here in New York at the Public Theater. Anne Hathaway was in it. I remember seeing it years ago. We were just talking off camera a little bit about, the process of getting an opera up and running and on its feet versus the process of getting a musical theater piece up and running on its feet. You two both come from the theater world and obviously have dabbled in opera as well. Just talk about the differences for our folks at home watching, because this is a massive production, and yet how it's put together is completely different compared to theater.
Oh my God. I mean, there's no amount of eye cream that you can apply when you're doing opera. Part of it is you're doing things way ahead. So I handed in the score April 1st. We teched a lot of it in June, and we started rehearsals in August. And then we continued to make changes, and we have no previews. So we're trying to imagine and learn what we got from our out of town. Now, if this were a theater piece, we would have been working out of town and changing in front of an audience, and then had previews in New York and changing. And that we have to do on our own.
You've done both. Obviously, you're about to go do another opera at the Met. You're opening Aida on New Year's Eve, I believe.
Right, yes.
Talk a little bit about, which one do you prefer? What process?
Well, I think they both have wonderful things to offer.
Okay.
I'll be as politic as I can be. There's something, I think, perhaps a little more organic about the way that we make musicals.
Yeah.
Because you start from the beginning and you move through it. You rehearse. You write it. You cast it. You rehearse it. Then you go into the tech process, and as Jeanine said, then you have previews, and the audience is like you're the missing character, right? And you really have an opportunity to explore the piece based on the response that you get from an audience. And the opera is cast years ahead of time. You're sort of given a company, and you tech it sometimes months before you have a first rehearsal, because everything's in rep. Yeah. It's very challenging, but at the same time, it's so huge and wonderfully expansive as an art form that you get to really sort of hurl yourself into it, and it's very exhilarating to do that, diving out of the airplane kind of thing without any parachute. So it's either going to work or it isn't.
I love this collaboration, and one of my favorite shows or moments in the theater was seeing the Tony Award-winning Thoroughly Modern Millie back in 2002. You guys worked on that together, you as the composer, you as the director. You're back doing this at the opera. What's the Jeanine-Michael collaboration like?
Well, I do feel like sometimes we should have our own talk show. Sorry, Frank.
So Frank, we want to tell you
You can stop for me whenever you want.
This chair is being moved.
Yeah.
Take it away.
We have an enormous amount of fun together, and I think that really defines what our room is like.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a safe space for people to really try stuff without really feeling like if they fail, they'll be derided or something like that. So, one of the things that I learned from Jeanine very early on during Millie was how effective music can be as a narrative device. Not lyrically, right? But the music, and this is where her genius is. One of the many places her genius reveals itself is that there's narrative information embedded in the music, because she's a natural dramatist. And so I feel like when we're working together, story and character is absolutely paramount, and all of the elements that I'm in charge of, which is staging, design, lighting, movement, and then the music, it comes together. And we're always, I feel like anyway, we're always telling the same story. And when we're not, because we're such good friends,
Janine,
we can.
I have a question. Janine, I have a question.
I go, you know, do you think that he could?
I love it. Congratulations on everything, especially this opera now playing at the Metropolitan Opera. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest news and weather updates every 10 minutes and more. We'll see you then.